your forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Another beautiful sunset tonight. That is our roofing dog INET. Casey Summers, Cameron Mattoon. Look at the sky, the clouds there. Great shot. Loving it. Outside, it has been a windy day. Those winds are still cranking pretty good even at this hour. Look at our gusts, 26 in Decatur, 25 in Taylorville. And the temperatures, they felt really good today. Readings actually touching the 70s in a few spots. Still 67 in Jacksonville, now cooling down to 62 in Danville and Champaign. You may look at the radar, see some green on there. None of this actually reaching the ground, and we're going to continue to keep things dry at least through this evening. Well, there's a busy Neal Street. As always, temperatures tonight down to the mid-50s by 11 o'clock. More about rain chances for your Thursday when we come back. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
Teachers' assistants in this district are preparing for a strike. What both sides had to say after a negotiating session cut short.
Work with the different issues and challenges that are affecting our citizens.
It's called the POP Unit, how city leaders believe this group will lead the way in slowing down crime.
You can't be sad putting a puppy.
And that's the point, how this bundle of fur has become therapy for those in need. We begin tonight with breaking news. Teachers, assistants, and some parents in the Decatur School District are furious. This after a negotiation session between union and school board leaders ended abruptly with no sign of resolution. WCIA 3's Emily Braun is in Decatur. Emily, what was the emotion like coming out of that meeting?
Paul, it was intense. There were tears and there was anger, but more than anything, there was increased passion for their cause as teachers' assistants are now preparing to strike. Both sides came to the bargaining table at 4 o'clock this afternoon. About 15 minutes later, the TA union president walked out and she said the school board decided not to budge from their current offer on health insurance, which the union says is not near good enough. With that in mind, they all say they are fully preparing to strike Tuesday. One union member I spoke with says this feels like a complete lack of respect as she and her colleagues are already fighting too hard to make a living.
Shock. And there are some people in that building that have been teachers. They've been in the classroom, and obviously they've forgotten where they came from. I'm going to tell you, I raised 3 kids working for this district. I lived out of my car to make sure I provided for my kids.
The union president told me there is still a chance they could get things worked out before Tuesday, but right now she says she thinks that chance looks slim. So for now, they are planning a sign-making party on Friday to get ready for the strike on Tuesday. And representatives from the school district just came out and talked to me. They couldn't say much about what the meeting was like because it was a closed session. But what they could say is that they do still plan on negotiating, and they sincerely hope that the teachers' assistants do not strike on Tuesday. Live in Decatur, Emily Braun, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Emily, thanks for that update. In other news, police in Danville are making some changes to their operations. The department is planning to start 3 units to cut down on crime and get to know more people in the community. WCIA 3's Jamie Mays is live in the newsroom tonight. Jamie, is this something new for Danville police?
They've had groups like this before. It ended because they didn't have enough manpower. Now they are bringing it back.
If you want to have good safety in your community, then you have to have good relationships.
That's something Danville police are trying to improve. They are now in the strategic phase of setting up 3 special task forces. The first is the POP units. This group Danville police has had before.
What the POP unit is going to do essentially is work with the different issues and challenges that are affecting our citizens of Danville and the surrounding area.
The second is for community housing.
Building relationships with residents and public housing units and housing communities across the city.
And the third?
A traffic enforcement and interdiction team, and they'll deal primarily with traffic concerns as well as different narcotics issues.
We believe that this will also help encourage more people to come forward when we are facing issues and when we need information to solve some type of crime that's happening.
About 4 officers will be in the POP unit. 2 to 3 will make up community housing, and 1 or 2 will do traffic enforcement. Veteran officers will be trained to take on these roles. They're hoping these units will make a big difference in improving crime and community relationships.
We would expect within a year of implementing these special units that you would see a reduction in various types of activity: violent crime, drug activity, gang activity.
It's specializing our resources to where we can directly impact those different challenges to where it makes Danville a better place.
They hope to have these units up and running by May or early June of next year. Live in the newsroom, Jamie Mays, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
All right, Jamie, thanks. Now, the police department has also hired 6 new officers. They're going through training. This will bring them to a full team of 63. The Mattoon police chief says his department staffing is lower than it's been in almost 50 years. He believes that's directly tied to the city employing too many firefighters. The police department has 35 officers compared to 30 firefighters. For perspective, the police department handled more than 35,000 calls in 2018. The fire department handled 2,700.
This city does not have a shortage of resources. In my view, we have a massive misallocation of resources, and that is what I believe. We don't have enough cops on the street day in and day out. 4 simply isn't enough anymore. Our society and our city has changed.
The city is negotiating with the fire department. Those negotiations started in January 2018. They're trying to find a way to cut spending. City leaders say they're trying to find a way to keep the police department as is, but they may be forced to make cuts there too. Authorities arrested a man wanted for sexually assaulting 2 girls in April. Romeo Andres is in custody. He's been on the run since May. Both victims are under the age of 13. Andres pleaded not guilty. He'll be back in court in December. We have a follow-up tonight. A man wanted for a shooting in Champaign turned himself into Indianapolis police. He's back in Champaign County. Jerry Exum was booked in the Champaign County jail. He's the suspect in a shooting that happened earlier this month. Police say he shot 2 men in Champaign. Both are expected to survive. The trial of a man accused of a Halloween murder 2 years ago in Decatur is underway. 22-year-old Quantravis Richardson is accused of shooting and killing 2 men. Officials say Richardson had been drinking. They also say he was angry and took that out on 2 men who'd done nothing to him. A woman from Indiana spent 17 years in prison for a crime she didn't commit. Now she's sharing her story with people around central Illinois. Christine Bunch was convicted of arson and the murder of her 3-year-old son. He died when her home caught fire in the 90s. She was exonerated in 2012. With help from the Illinois Innocence Project, they found there were no accelerants in her son's room. The only place kerosene was found was in the living room, where a heater was being used.
It's very hard to go back and reliving, you know, losing my child all over again, but it's also necessary because I need people to realize that this can be something that happens, an accident, and you can end up in prison for it, and we want to make sure that doesn't happen to anybody ever again.
Bunch was 22 years old and pregnant with another son at the time of the arrest. She says that made her journey extremely difficult as she missed essential parts of his childhood. But she enjoys spending time with him now that she's free. A man is dead after a single-car crash in Ford County. It happened this morning on I-57. Police say a 72-year-old was driving northbound when he went off the road and hit a guardrail. Officials have not released his name. The U of I has had a series of anti-Semitic incidents in the past few weeks. What one group is doing to try and make sense of it all. Also tonight.
But I think there's a lot of benefit to it.
What's better than cuddling next to this furry pet? Why many say it's the best therapy on earth.
Another great sky tonight with that sunset. Just beautiful. Look at that shot on the Roofing Dog on it. Casey Summers camera. Recap today, 70. We started out though at 34 this morning. What a change from morning to afternoon. All right. Coming back, though. These winds that have been howling all day. When do they die down? We'll look at things turning cooler and a little bit of rain for your weekend forecast coming up.